Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend family functions now that my father's affair child is being invited to them? This one's got lots of parts, but to simplify it, I, 18 male, practically always had an issue with Sadie, 17 female, who I've known since kindergarten. Her brother, 20 male, bullied me for 6 months when I was in 1st grade. He and his friends bullied me and a few others, but I was his favorite target. My mom got involved and he got in a lot of trouble, especially when he was bullying younger kids. After her brother got in trouble, Sadie turned on me and she has been persistent. My mom was in and out of each school I went to, making sure I was in different classes than Sadie, and that the school didn't let Sadie get away with bullying me too. She didn't stop. At least she didn't stop until we found out my dad is her bio father, which was 10 or 11 months ago. Which brings me to finding out my dad cheated on my mom when she was pregnant with me, and my parents are almost at the end of their divorce now. Dad has tried so hard to stop it. Sadie's mom wasn't married, but she was with Sadie's brother's dad, and they got married when Sadie was 2. Sadie thought he was her dad too, but he didn't treat her the same, and I have been told over and over to be forgiving and compassionate because the exclusion and verbal abuse she got from her dad made her lash out. I was mad when I found out. I was mad at Dad for doing that to Mom. But of all people Sadie he had to make? Yeah, I made it clear to everyone that Sadie might have the same bio dad as me, but I would never be her brother and I still hate her, so she can buzz off and leave me alone. My dad's family aren't talking to him either. They don't like the mess he made, and they tried to rally around me and Mom. But a few months ago, they started to change and would ask us to change our feelings towards Sadie and to find compassion. My mom had none for her, and she told Dad's family members there was no way she would family up, her way to describe it, to a girl who tormented me for a decade, and even cyber harassed me with messages telling me to end myself. I told Dad's family that I wasn't willing to have a relationship with Sadie. I said I wouldn't stop them, but they shouldn't expect to see me where Sadie will be. They told me a million times she's my sister, and I told them she's Dad's affair kid and a stalker and I hate her. I said Dad screwing up and making her doesn't change that. Sadie's first family function is going to be Christmas, and Dad's side are so annoyed I won't show my face for even a little while. They told me it would be good for me and for Sadie, and I told them I don't care what's good for Sadie. I said seeing her would ruin my Christmas, just like having to pretend I don't hate her would ruin it. They told me I should see all she's been through and be willing to at least see her for their sakes. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Time to put people on a contact timeout. Never thought I'd be in this position, but you're right. At this point, we're going around in circles, and they're going to turn on me more as they realize there's no compromise for me. They will not stop. Don't let the bastards grind you down. No contact seems like the best strategy. Give them time to think about their BS. Why do I feel it has always been the intention from the start? Rally around OP like they support his decision. Then all of a sudden, they see reason and want you to compromise. Time to bid them goodbye and start living your best life without them. I thought the same thing after they started pushing me and Mom to forgive Sadie and treat her like family. Because that turnaround happened abruptly, and I don't know how you can go from supporting me and Mom to being Team Sadie and screaming that she deserves to be loved and forgiven. Do you still have those messages where she cyberbullied you? Print them and put them in a nice frame and make that your present to your dad's family. A copy for everyone telling you to forgive her. You are not the a-hole. Go spend Christmas with your mom and her family. I sure do. A few of my cousins read them and even thought it was crazy for the older relatives her pushing me to forgive and be Sadie's brother. Do it, OP. Get a big cheap frame, print the messages, and put it in the frame. Wrap it nice and address it to the whole family. I'm kinda tempted to, but I don't know that it would do much except for pissing them off. Maybe some time of no contact would be better overall. At least it gives me a break from their pushing. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to be my brother's live-in maid after he dropped out of college? My dad passed away a few years ago, and ever since then my brother has decided he is the man of the house. He dropped out of college. I do not think he was going to graduate anyway because he is not very smart. He works in construction, and he does help with some bills, and he fixes our cars and small things around the house. I appreciate that, but he acts like doing those things every few months gives him the right to boss me around every single day and order me to do all the everyday chores. When I came home from my lectures, I saw him fixing one of the cabinets. The first thing he said to me was, "The sink is full. Why did you not do the dishes?" It has been like that for 2 days now. I told him, "I always do my dishes. Those are literally yours and Mom's. I am not your maid." He then started guilt-tripping me and trying to emotionally manipulate me. He said, "I just came home from a 13-hour day, and the first thing I did was fix this broken piece of junk. Mom works 6 days a week. The least you could do is clean the house and do the dishes. I'm not even asking you to cook or do laundry. You are a leech." I told him, "I just came home from 3 lectures and a lab. I have to study for my final exams next week. I do not have time right now to be your maid." He replied, "Typical females of this generation. I will do the dishes and fix this. Go to the mechanic next time. Do not come to me again." I ignored him and went to my room. A few minutes later, he sent me a bank transfer request for $600 with a note that said, "Brake and oil change, parts and labor." For context, I am 1/3 of the household and I do 1/3 of the chores. I clean the kitchen and bathroom 2 to 3 days a week. I do my share, but he acts like it is never enough. I am also a nursing major, so I spend a lot of time studying. Meanwhile, he dropped out of college and uses our dad's passing as an excuse for everything. He was majoring in business, and nothing he claims to do around the house is something he does often. He does those things every few weeks, months, or even years. But he still expects me to clean every day like it is my full-time job. My mom rarely defends me and treats him like an angel. I am exhausted. As soon as I finish my degree and can afford it, I am moving out. Am I the a-hole? It is simple. Mechanic has to post prices in advance and have to have liability. Do not give him money and go to the real mechanic the next time. Your brother does not sound like a type to trust with brakes. Alternatively, send him bank transfer request for cleaning services. I wish I can go to an actual mechanic, but I'm broke at the moment. He gives me a few $100s every few weeks, and that's about it. Your brother gives you money? Just get a part-time job and stop relying on him. Wait to leave that out of the post. Do you think he is giving you a few $100s every few weeks just from the goodness of his heart? He is not your parent. He should not have to give you an allowance. Seeing that he is, the least you could do is do extra chores around the house. I was about to say everyone sucks here until OP clarified that her brother, on top of working full-time and supporting his family with DIY and repairs around the house, also gives his adult sister weekly pocket money from his wages. You're the a-hole. You're an adult living for free in your family home. You don't get to live like you would in a flat share when your mom and brother work their butt off to pay your way. If that means doing more than 1/3 of chores for now, then it is what it is, because you have more free time as a student. After your admissions, your brother is giving you money, paying part of the household bills, and fixing your car for free? You have just won the giant "you're the a-hole" rating. Shut up, wash the dishes, clean the house, or get a job. You're a mooch. An ungrateful mooch. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to split a gift with my sister after she forgot her part but still wants half? A few months ago, my sister and I decided to buy an expensive birthday gift together for our mom. We agreed to split the cost evenly, and I paid my share right away. At the time, she said she would send me her portion later, which I thought was fine. I went ahead and purchased the gift, making sure everything was perfect and ready for the celebration. The day came, we gave the gift, and everyone loved it. Afterward, I asked her about her share of the payment, but she kept putting it off, saying she would pay when she could. Weeks passed, then months, and she still hadn't contributed anything. Recently, she told me she expects me to cover the full cost because it's just money, and she doesn't want to worry about it. I reminded her that we had agreed to split it and that I already covered my portion. She insisted that since she didn't pay immediately, I should just pay the rest and she would consider it even later. I explained that I wasn't willing to cover her half and that it's unfair to expect me to pay for something we both agreed to share. I understand money can be tight sometimes, but this was an agreement we both made months ago. I went out of my way to organize and buy the gift, and now it feels like she wants to take advantage of the situation. I'm standing by the fact that she still owes me her part, and I shouldn't be responsible for paying more than I already did. Expensive lesson. We learned it when family agreed to buy mother-in-law a new sewing machine for Christmas. It was $300. This was over 20 years ago, and everybody was to pay $50. We bought machine and immediately received payment from 2 siblings. One sibling I worked with and had to hound her for at least 3 months before she finally paid it. Never received money from the remaining 2. So we paid for half the machine. Never again did we do that. Wow, that sounds so frustrating. It's crazy how some people can just forget or ignore their part of an agreement. Definitely an expensive lesson, and I don't blame you for never doing that again. Not the a-hole. She pays up front or she doesn't get a dime. Next time it's pay up front or we're not doing a split at all. My sister does this. I will never split anything with her again. It's manipulation, getting you to buy and pay for the gift and including her name as the giver. She never planned to pay you. It really does feel like they want the credit without any of the responsibility. Not the a-hole. Tell her that if it is just money, then she should have 0 problems handing over her share. Honestly, I'd cut ties with her until she did. If anyone asks why, just say, she used me for money and refuses to pay me now, with 0 specifics, so it doesn't get back to your mom. Last thing you need is her feeling like a burden, when that is 1000% your sister. I'm not cutting ties, but I am definitely keeping my distance when it comes to anything involving money from now on. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to invite my biological parents to my wedding after what they did? I, 20-year-old female, am getting married to my fiancé of 2 years, 22-year-old male. My biological parents physically and emotionally abused me all throughout my life, until they kicked me out right after I graduated high school. They'd kicked me out twice before, once when I was 14, and again when I was 16. They would verbally abuse me and tell me things like, "You'll never make it in life," and "Why would anyone love you? You don't do anything but sit around all the time." I'd suffered from depression since I was 8. 2 weeks ago, my fiancé and I were making our list of guests for the wedding. My biological parents came by unannounced and looked at the list, asking why they weren't on it, when my biological father was supposed to be the one to walk me down the aisle. What my biological parents didn't know before is that, when they kicked me out, I went to live with my maid of honor. We'll call her Amy. Amy's parents took me in just having turned 18, just graduated, and with nowhere to go. From that point on, I called Amy's parents my parents, and they eventually adopted me, making Amy not only my best friend, but also my sister. My biological mother, we'll call her Kristen, started getting in my face about not being invited to my wedding and said it was disrespectful and that she was supposed to be there because she gave birth to me. My biological father, we'll call him Marvin, got in my fiancé's face about how he was being a bad influence on me and how he'd never get the blessing to marry me. That's when I snapped and told them they're no longer my parents. They lost the right to call themselves that when they threw me out after I just graduated high school. Marvin was the physical and emotional abuser. Kristen was the emotional abuser. Kristen would look the other way when Marvin abused me physically. I had 3 broken ribs when they kicked me out. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to invite my biological parents to my wedding after what they did? Not the a-hole. Why are you allowing them over your house if they aren't invited to your wedding? Why are you in contact with them at all? Why can't you go no contact? Why did you forgive them enough to allow them back in your life if you don't want them at your wedding? Why did you even answer the door when they showed up? I'm not in contact with them at all. I blocked them on every social media platform, blocked their numbers, and got a new number myself. They showed up at my fiancé's and my apartment, having gotten our address from an old friend whom we no longer talk to. Not the a-hole. But are you absolutely certain your future husband didn't let them know where you were? Because it isn't uncommon for people who have normal families not to understand not wanting contact. I know you say it was through a friend, but make sure it wasn't your fiancé. It wasn't him. He was just as surprised as I was when they barged into our apartment unannounced, and I've seen his messages with people. Call the police next time they show up. And when I say call the police, I don't mean to threaten to call the police. Actually call the police and have them trespassed from your property. Don't invite them and start looking for a new place to live. Hi OP, hopefully you're already hardcore, never doing that again. But just in case you need a pep talk. My bio parents are not physically abusive, but have become more and more emotionally and verbally abusive, especially in adulthood. I let them back into my life after the second time they disowned me, not long before my wedding, and caved about letting them walk me down the aisle, rather than my grandparents, who realistically were my actual parents. My bio parents ended up steamrolling me on a lot of things I did and didn't want at my wedding, and then got worse and worse again until finally, after the sixth disownment, I've put my foot down about being no contact. Friends and family who actually care about me and believe, or firsthand witnessed, my parents' behavior, get it, and do not do things like betray my trust by forcing me back into contact with them. Those friends and family have also multiple times noted that I am noticeably more like my old self, and I was able to cut back on therapy after multiple breakthroughs because I was no longer being constantly activated. I've realized that my fawning with my parents was never nearly as calculated as I thought, and I was never going to get through to them to be actually kinder people. You owe your bio parents nothing. Even if they'd been model parents at some point in your life, which sounds like they never were anyway, they have treated you like dog crap since. I can guarantee you the only reason they are making a stink is because, by them not being there at the wedding walking you down the aisle, it is readily apparent to more people than ever how horribly they treated you, and they want to save face. Let them reap what they sowed. I agree with others that you should get a camera on your door, never answer if they're the ones at it, and instruct anyone else in your household or frequently over to do the same. Block them on everything if you haven't already. And obviously, huge not the a-hole,